Alright, and this is Byzantine Thinking, whichever you would like to call me. Either way works. And we're just going to go over this quick chess game I played and just talk about what I want to do with the future of my channel. Well, first of all, this is going to be my first video, so we'll just have some fun with it. So I'm white, and my opponent is black. I'm not rated 1602. This guy's probably not rated 1483. To be honest, if I had to guess where I ranked, it's probably close to 1,000. But let's go through this game. So I opened up with the king's pawn opening, Sicilian defense on the part of black. Played a gambit. Okay, black goes up to d6, protecting the c5 pawn. I go to f3 to protect my pawn here on d4. Chess.com does not seem to like that, as we're about even now. Here I see a weak spot here in the pawn structure. I believe this d6 pawn is a bit weak, even though this is protecting it. I just think that it's ripe for exploitation. So we're just going to form this pawn chain here to threaten this pawn. So I go to c3. My opponent goes to e7. Then I go to e5. Doing my little plan. And what he did here plays directly into my hand. Mainly because only the queen is protecting this pawn. He plays f5. Here I could do something called en passant. It's basically when this pawn here, or let's say if I move the pawn here, and there's a pawn here, then the opponent, or in my case, me, I can take with this pawn right here, like do that, as if this pawn moved here only. It's a little bit of a fun fact there, but I'm not going to play an en passant. I'm going to threaten the queen with my bishop, mainly because the only thing to block this bishop would be this knight, and if he played the knight here, I could use this pawn and be up a piece. But he's going to move the queen to c7. Then I take. He takes back. I move here because I think this is another weak point that could be used. Now here was a big mistake on his part. This pawn here on b5 is unprotected, and as soon as I take it, I get a free check on him, and he'll have to defend with the knight, the bishop, the queen, or he can move the king to this square, this square, this square. Actually, he can't even move to these two squares because of this bishop here. So I'll take the free pawn on b5 with my bishop, checking him. The king goes to f7, which is going to be his undoing. Watch this next move. Knight to e5. Knight to e5 is a great move. One, it stops the king from going here. It checks the king. And the king has nowhere to go, which forces the queen that's on d6 to take my knight. And then I could use my pawn to take the queen. So we did this. I do that. While the king is safe for now, my opponent would be down a queen. And then I could start doing stuff like, well, we can do something hyper aggressive. Do something like, I don't know, queen to d8. Right, queen d8. And then I can move the queen e8 for the checkmate if he doesn't play those next few moves correctly. And in any case, it was a good game by guess 6603291178. But in this case, I think I just got the better of him. Now, besides just playing some random stuff in the background, I plan to talk about stocks, investing, and whatever just comes to mind. Don't plan on getting overly political because politics is such a bummer these days. But in any case, I think that'll be it for today. Subscribe, like, do whatever you like. Just have a good day and have a good night, wherever you are. Goodbye.